I remember once my grandma found me. I was bored out of my wits, so I took the panga and I was playing guitar with it. And I was singing my heart out.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I had made so much music and there was no sound around me. It was me in my head. And I realized, fast forward, that you can create whatever you imagine.
Yeah.
It's just down to your imagination and your grit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hi everybody, welcome to Tide Talks with me, Tyrone Kimenyi. Tide Talks aspires to inspire the current and future generations by telling stories of people who have made it to the top of their careers. Today I'm very lucky to have someone who is an icon, and I don't use that term lightly. He was a producer, I don't know if he still is, I'll ask him, and turned into a businessman. Ladies and gentlemen, Tedd Josiah. Hi Ted.
Hi, how's it going, bro?
Good man, thanks so much for coming.
Asante.
Let's go back to the 70s. I know you were born and raised in Nakuru before moving to the States. Maybe you can tell me a bit about your childhood.
Well, I was actually born in Mombasa, then moved to Nakuru. In Mombasa, my best friend was my dad's pet monkey. Moved to Nakuru, and then my folks moved to the States, and I moved to Nyahururu to live with my grandma. After a couple of years, then moved to the US and went to be a notorious there.
That in Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago, Chi-Town. Windy city. I don't like the wind. And lived part of my life there. We came back to Kenya, moved to Kajiado, where my dad worked as a teacher. Then I got stuck there. They moved to Nairobi. So I've been around the world a lot. My life, I think, has been very migratory. Yeah.
And then from Kajiado, where did you end up?
From Kajiado, I finished my primary school there. So imagine this kid who's come from the States. All of a sudden, he's in Nairobi. He has this. For some strange reason, I had an Italian mob accent for some strange reason. And then I ended up with Masais who could barely speak English in primary school. And then I did my first Form 1 in Kajiado, Ole Kajiado High School. And at one point I just rebelled and said, screw this, I'm not doing this, man. The sun was literally overhead, and I remember triple agriculture on a Monday afternoon, and I was like, this is not life. Forget it. I'm leaving. I'm quitting school in Form 1. So my parents moved me to Eastleigh High School, and Eastleigh High School had fine art. That was just the grace of God being, his hand was on me, because till that point I didn't know that I was gifted in anything. I thought I was just a absolute failure in everything I touched. Mathematics I couldn't understand. English I could understand because sciences, I was like, bro. Biology, even if you gave me the leakage, I would absolutely fail. And then I found myself in an art room in Eastleigh, and my spirit just exploded with joy as soon as I had a pencil and pastels and crayons, and I could draw, and I started to excel. Within 2-3 years, actually, I had excelled to a point where I now felt purpose in life, I felt like at least there's something I'm good at, you know. And most kids, I think, end up, because of school and everything, and you're doing 56 subjects, you find yourself not really excelling at all 56. It's very few that excel a lot. And then you're just in one little small niche, and if school could focus on that, we'd create much better people, because a lot of kids tend to feel like failures.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're not a failure. It's not, you're just not good at everything, and nobody's good at everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, so art became my best friend, and to this present day, art has fed me, clothed me, kept me alive, kept me sane. Yeah.
And then from Eastleigh High School, what happened after that?
After Eastleigh High School, I went to Kenya Polytechnic. I was accepted at Kenyatta University. let me put it this way. During Moi's time, when you were accepted in uni, they would sometimes take your scores and give them to somebody else and then make sure you don't get the slot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were notorious for that. So, and I didn't want to do fine art I didn't want to become a teacher of art. I wanted to do, graphic design and all of those things. And when I say graphic design, there were no computers.
I was about to ask that.
So I wanted to do graphic design because I felt I would really fly there. I did. I went to Kenya Poly, did graphic design, and also worked at the same time. So I was working and going to school at the same time as a graphic designer. 2 years later, I got absolutely bored of that in true Tedd fashion. And I became a gospel musician or started to dabble in music and realized, oh, you mean I can do this as well?
But what ignited the fire for you to go into music?
Now, that one we have to rewind. What ignited the fire was me and my dad, the only time we would bond was when we'd go to the record stores in Chicago.
Yeah, okay.
And we'd buy records. And it would always be on a Saturday morning. And then he would say, you choose 1 or 2 records. So I would choose. And I wouldn't choose kiddie stuff, bro. I mean, I would choose Bob Marley, Cat Stevens, the Eagles. I'm sure you guys aren't aware of those guys, but people like Bob Marley, you'd understand who those are. And so I ended up listening to different genres of music. Rock, country, pop, classic, jazz, reggae, and all the Frank Sinatra and all of that stuff. And I would always ask myself, because my dad had bought me a little small record player, how do they make this music?
Yeah.
How do they make that sound? How is sound generated? So I'd watch concerts on TV and I'd start writing down the name of keyboards and stuff. And this is me as a kid. And then during the school holidays when we came back from the States, I'd be thrown in shags to go live with my grandma and, take care of the cows and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'd be busy, like maybe possibly cutting the dhara, if you know what that is, the napier grass for cows. And I remember once my grandma found me. I was bored out of my wits, so I took the panga and I was playing guitar with it and I was singing my heart out.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I had made so much music and there was no sound around me. It was me in my head. And I realized, fast forward, that you can create whatever you imagine.
Yeah.
It's just down to your imagination and your grit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So when I joined the gospel music industry, it was 1, so that I could learn how to play instruments, 2, so that I could free that part of me up. And it was me and a friend of mine called Peter Dara, who's still my very good friend till date. And he held my hand and sort of like showed me, this is how you play the keyboard, this is how you do the drums, and this is how. And it wasn't, at that point, there were no Fruity Loops or computers still.
Yeah.
So it was, if you want to play drums, sit down on the drum set and play it. Do you know what I mean? If you want to play piano, sit down on the piano and figure it out.
Yeah.
And my fingers stopped at guitar. I was just like, my fingers are just way too delicate for that.
Yeah.
You need callous hands to be able to play that instrument. So I'm a keyboardist, drummer, percussionist, a bit of bass.
So how many instruments can you play?
I've actually never counted, but I don't play instruments. I play with instruments.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
I just have fun. If it makes sense and it's on key and it's vibing, throw it in. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
So, and then you and Pete were in this gospel band, and then did you disband and move to producing, or?
So what happened was me and Pete were joined by a girl called Sally, who has since passed, and another one called Esther, who's we're all old now, very old. And we created a band called Heart. And Heart was the first African artist to be signed on to a company in Germany, a record company in Germany called Kelele Records.
Wow. Yeah.
We were also the first CD ever to be manufactured outside of South Africa.
That's crazy.
That was a huge feat for us. And we did a couple of tours. We used to do a lot of gospel tours and stuff like that. And then we just outgrew the band. Again, we were there for a season. God did what he needed to do with us in that season. And one of the guys who came to pray for us one day, who's now married to Esther,
Ironic. That's so coincidental.
He said prophetically, you are going to become the Quincy Jones of Kenya and Africa.
Wow.
At that particular point, I was still a novice in a lot of stuff in music. I looked at him through that prophecy and I was like, yeah, right. I half laughed because, bro, this is just me, the loser guy who triple agriculture made him quit, literally quit high school and go to do other stuff. And fast forward 4 years later, it came to pass. Oh, wow. I had joined a record label and a studio, and Sync Sound Studios in South B had recruited me as a music producer. And I had then went on to produce people like Hardstone, Shades of Black. Hardstone did Uhiki.
Necessary Noise.
Necessary Noise. Necessary Noise was much later. I started with people like Hardstone, Shades of Black, Kawesa, Kalamashaka, yes. And then Hardstone joined. And when Hardstone and then Necessary Noise joined. Actually, Nazizi joined because the studio owner was Nazizi's uncle. And that's a funny story because one day he came and told me, look, my niece is bugging me. Her mom doesn't want her to drop out of school, but she wants to do hip hop. Yeah. So just do a demo for her so that she can get out of the studio. So walks in this 16-year-old girl and with her school uniform, and she's skived school, and she
at St. Austin at the time, or
no, she wasn't at. She had left St. Austin. She had just left St. Austin to another school. I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
And she did her rap, and I said, well, you know what? If you can promise to stay in school, we'll do your single.
Yeah.
And that's how her first single came out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look at her now.
Look at her now.
Yeah. It's actually a very good friend of mine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. And I'm proud of her. She's done really well.
Yes.
Especially, she broke barriers when not many females were in that industry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, she was I would say she was the first hip hop / reggae artist to come out of East Africa. You know, a lot of female artists owe her, a lot because of what she did in terms of breaking barriers and also not looking. Nas is not the kind of person who wants to look feminine. She just wants to look like Nas.
Yeah, she is.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She is what she is. Take her as she is, And I really appreciate that about her because it made, not everybody's meant to be prim and proper.
That's true.
And just because you don't fit bog standard doesn't mean that you're an outcast. It just means that you've been brought into this world to show people a different option in life,
Yeah.
And I feel like people like Nas really are important to the world.
That's true.
Yeah.
And I really respect her because she's been through so many hardships, but she still holds her head high.
Through the fire.
She's a strong person.
Through the fire, yeah.
And then, so now you're working in the studio in South B, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then, what happened after that?
In true Tedd fashion, I got bored.
You don't like doing one thing for
no, I don't like doing one thing too long. I actually don't like it. I feel like God has called me to do many things in life before the candle burns out. But what happened was I had been working as a music producer, but also honing my skills because my boss had been to MIT and he was a proper sound engineer, trained, could build this mixer from the ground up. He would go to River Road, buy components, and literally you'd find him like a mad scientist welding things to build it. And he trained me, and after he finished training me, I had been buying my own gear and stuff. And it got to a point I was like, you know what, give this job to somebody else. I want to do my own thing now.
Yeah.
I'm ready to, fly. And then I ventured into business with a guy called David Morethi.
Delight.
DJ Delight, yes. And Migratory was the three of us, actually.
Yeah.
And we opened up our own studio. Audio Vault.
Where was that?
Audio Vault was in State House Road.
Okay.
So we're right outside the back gate of State House is where Audio Vault was. And after a while, they ventured out to set up Homeboys, and Davey ventured out to do his DJing and his, his mentorship programs.
And he was in finance as well, I think.
Yes, he's always been in finance.
Yeah.
He's the reason why I didn't go broke, because he would hold on to the shillings.
Yeah.
And I ended up opening up my own studio and just doing my own thing, Blue Zebra. And that's where people like now Necessary Noise with Nas and Waire and Bamzigi. People like Susanna Wheel came on board. I had a lot of artists that I was working with, like Dij. And I just dabbled in different genres of music. I was no longer just doing one genre.
Yeah.
Because of how I grew up, I wanted to look at all facets of music. Apart from classical, because I'm not classically trained, I would do everything else.
Yeah.
So I had artists who won Radio France International, RFI competitions for being best new world artists, like groups like Unasi. People know songs like Usilewe, but they don't know that I'm the one who produced it.
Yeah.
I had groups like YOYO who also did a lot of global tours. Susanna Wheel also, who did and still does a lot of global tours in terms of world music. Necessary Noise, and then who was crossing hip hop with reggae, with dancehall, with they were just eclectic. And then people like Dij, who did urban Swahili, R&B, and those are the artists I worked with.
Oh, nice. Who would you say is the favorite artist you worked with? Or is that a tough question?
It's like asking me what's my favorite genre in music. I don't have a favorite genre. So I don't have a favorite artist. They all are special in their own way, and you can't compare them. For instance, I don't really like, nowadays when I look at awards and that kind of stuff, you're putting people on yardsticks as if it's, again, bog standard. And the kind of thing that you've been brought in this world to do is so unique to you that we shouldn't put you on somebody else's yardstick.
That's true.
We shouldn't measure your growth based on somebody else. And we tend to do that in the music, in the arts, in film, in school, in life,
That's true.
What's he driving? All right, let me drive that as well,
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Speaking of awards, actually, you started the first awards ceremony in Kenya, if I'm correct, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Tell me a bit about that.
So I started Kissima Awards as back in '94, actually, as an award ceremony for people in the arts and in the less trodden path. So when we started out, it wasn't just music. It was music and arts and sculpture and, fine art and sports and all of these things. People who weren't being recognized, We tend to recognize the scientists. We tend to recognize the politicians. We tend to recognize the businessmen, because all of these people are in our faces. But we don't recognize the people who are leaving lasting legacies in terms of, that one love song that you were conceived to. Have you ever asked your folks about it?
No.
Yeah, that's a conversation you should have. It would be very interesting. One of the reasons I'm called Ted is Teddy Pendergrass,
Yeah.
I won't ask any questions, but yeah. So Kissima was, it came as a result of that. And again, just being the crazy crackhead I am, I walked into KTN offices and said, I have an award ceremony I want to do. And they looked at me and said, oh, wow, that sounds interesting. How about we sponsor it for you?
Oh, wow.
And we got sponsorship.
Yeah.
And it did well for a couple of years, 94, 95. And then I just, because I wanted to focus on being a music producer, I left it alone. And in 2002, 2003, we revived it, thanks to Alliance Francaise and companies like Total, who came in and sponsored, and Carnivore, who gave it, the wings it needed. But in true Kenyan fashion, it was killed by the media, absolutely slaughtered by the media.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, well, I wasn't brought to the world to create an award ceremony. I was brought to the world to create. So how about we just park this, and whoever wants to do it, you do
carry
it.
on.
Yeah, but this is not my calling right
Yeah.
now. I'm going to do other things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And there was tons of other things I wanted. I wanted to go into film at that particular point. I was at the crossroads in terms of music and all of that. Yeah.
And I read something actually. You won Producer of the Year, but you actually rejected the the award, right?
That is a little known truth because the media hid that.
Yeah.
So what happened was 2004, Kissima was big, but Necessary Noise was bigger, Kinanaz and Wairi.
Yeah.
And any award that they were nominated for,
They'd win.
they were going to take.
Yeah.
So there was the Kissima Awards, there was Chagola Tinis. They just basically just fieked everything that they were, nominated for. Now, I was their producer, so it was Producer of the Year, and I had produced guys who had won BBC Awards, RFI Awards, and some awards in South Africa. So as part of the committee, I said, look, I know that I've done a lot of stuff this year, and I know that my name is going to pop up there, but I'm kindly asking that you omit me from it.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me.
Yeah.
And I said, no, how about if it was us? Because there were other producers in the committee. How about if it was us? No, if you've done it, you deserve it. And I said, okay, well, it's a democracy, so you guys have voted for that. And I got the award. And for me, the person I felt should have won the award was Japheth Kasanga, who had produced a lot more music than I had, and who had revolutionized the gospel music industry in such a large way, but was never getting any recognition, ever, ever, ever. People weren't writing about him in the press. People weren't talking about him. And I thought, look, this guy here, nobody will ever hear about him if I don't. So I called him on stage and gave him the award.
Wow.
I said, I refuse to accept this award. I'd rather that it goes to this guy. But the media went and twisted it, turned it around and said, well, Ted gives himself an award. And I'm like, I didn't give myself an award.
Yeah.
I gave the award away.
Yeah.
But that's how Kissima died, Yeah.
Nice. And then that was 2004, right?
That was 2004,
And then fast forward to 2007, you're part of a political campaign.
I get bored easy.
And then you were campaigning for Raila Odinga. And then things didn't go quite right. And then you moved to the UK, decided to move to London.
I didn't move. You say it as if I got a 40-foot container, packed my stuff slowly, put it on a ship. No. I went to the airport forcefully.
Yeah, your life was
waited.
Your life was in danger.
Yes, waited for the next plane out and left for the UK. Yes, I had been working for, it wasn't just Raila Odinga. I worked for NARC. So I worked with Kibaki, I worked with Ngilu, Martha Karua, and all of those people to create the Unbogable song and that whole euphoria. After
Unbogable
which
was such a big tune.
it was, and it still is. Thank God. That was 2002. Fast forward 2005, there was a referendum, and I dabbled in a bit of a commercial that pissed some people off, and then there was Banana and Chungu and all of that, and ODM came alive, and then I was commissioned by a team to work with Raila and build his media. So I did that. And once I finished that, I realized that I was on the wrong end of the stick because they attempted to abduct, or is it adopt me?
Yeah.
At one point during that campaign.
Yeah.
And we had death threats. And I just thought to myself,
Your life
forget
is more
it.
important.
Yeah, forget it. Yeah, been there, done that. Don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do film and animation. So the UK became my home from 2007 to about 2015.
It's Long time, almost 8 years. Yeah.
Yeah, almost 8 years. Yeah,
And how's your experience in the UK?
horrible.
Really?
Horrible. I hate cold.
Yeah.
And then
I live there as well, so yeah,
it's
I'm not a fan either.
and then it's cloudy all the time and gloomy. And you know, as well, I used to tell people I'm a tropics baby. If I don't see the sun, then I don't count this as a day. It's constantly raining. It's just depressing weather.
At 4
you
p.m.
know?
it's dark.
Yeah. And then where I was working was it was a basement. So during the winter, I'd walk in to the basement when it's dark, and I'd walk out at 4 p.m. when it's dark. So I would never see light.
That's crazy.
And that just started throwing me off, and I realized I'm going into some sort of depression and stuff. But I got some serious training there in terms of film and animation and just, you know, honing my skill in media. And after that, I ended up working with a company called Kenyan Inc. He set up in CNN. And what he would do is he would set up TV stations around the world. So I worked for him, training people on how to set up TV stations, how to produce content, how to, you know, market the content and generate the content and all of that. And I realized, again, this time I wasn't getting bored. It was, I was living out of a suitcase and eating the same meals day in, day out in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I started to lose my mind. I was like, no, this is not life, man.
Yeah.
This is not, it doesn't matter how much money you're paying me. This is not
for
life.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you came back, and is that when you came back? Is that when you met your late wife?
Yes.
And how did you meet?
So I thought to myself, it would be a great idea if I could fuse fashion and music. And I was in this whole tip of fashion and music must be fused so that you can move the culture forward. And I couldn't relent, but I knew nothing about fashion because I hadn't really studied fashion. I had studied graphics and package design. That's about it. And one day, this girl walked into the gate for an audition, and I knew instantly
That's the one.
finished. It's a wrap. It's gone. Case closed.
Yeah.
Done. Finished.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even talked.
Yeah.
Literally, I saw her walk up, and I hadn't even had conversation. And she had come for an audition. She wanted to sing. And 6 hours later, we're talking about fashion and music and watching all these videos on YouTube and how we can do this. And we realized that our worlds had collided.
Yeah.
And she became such an inspiration to me in the things that I wanted to do in fashion. And I became an inspiration to her in the things she wanted to do in music. And then she had a condition. And the doctors told her, it would be good if you would have your baby now, if you can, because it will help you with all of this girly stuff you're going through. And I really wanted a baby.
Yeah.
I was at a point where I really wanted a baby. And so we had a conversation and, shall we have this baby? And that slowed down everything that we were doing in terms of the creativity and all of that because, pregnancy, how it is, it was a complicated pregnancy. So she had to slow down. And we had the baby, Jamila. And when Jay came, she was from day one ready to see the world, conquer the world, be the world. And literally by month 2, she was already, I don't think kids do this, but she was already trying to have conversations with people, you know, and looking at stuff and really just, you know,
Just curious.
a very curious human being. And by month 2.5, her mom passed, sadly.
May she rest in peace, yeah.
Really, that was, for me, that was a blow that I am still dealing with. I think some things hit you so hard that you deal with them in slow motion because your mind can't deal with it all at once. And it was such a sudden death and an unfortunate death that for me, it was like God telling me, all right, so you think you know it all. Now I'm going to show you that I'm the one in control and I am going to lead you. Stop leading yourself.
Yeah. Wow, that's deep.
So I had to literally just chill for a whole year in mourning and in a really, when I say dark place, I don't think people understand it. A really dark place.
Do you call it a rock bottom? Or?
The rock bottom has a bottom.
Yeah.
There's a place where it's just an abyss. You're falling in darkness. That's the way I can describe it. You're falling. Literally, you can feel that there's air around you, but it's all dark, and you haven't hit rock bottom. You hit rock bottom past, and you're continuing down.
Yeah.
And then I started to play back these conversations we had. And one of the conversations we had was the night she passed, actually. The conversation we had was, he said, I don't want Jay to go through life the way I've gone through life. I don't want her to go through life suffering and struggling and trying to find her feet and stuff like that. And she had just come from the bank, and she said, I'm even thinking of opening up an account for this child because I want her to really have the best that she possibly can in life. And another conversation we had was, one day we had gone to Karioko to buy, I don't even remember, but she saw a kiondo. She loved the kiondo. It was half leather, half sisal. And she said, if we could only find leather, it would be so interesting to make bags, eh? And I'm thinking to myself, does Kenya even sell leather? Do you know?
Yeah.
And after she passed, those were playing back in my mind.
Yeah.
And one day I asked the same question, can you even sell leather? And I was told, well, yeah, there's this place, go and find it.
So this is how Joka.
That exactly. So she birthed Joka Jok without even being there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen your stuff. Like, actually, my family has bought quite a bit of your stuff.
Oh,
and
wow, thanks.
I think I sent you some pictures, actually.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
and,
yes.
I can say it can compete with Gucci or any luxury like leather brand. It's premium stuff.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. And how's that going for you so far?
Joka Jok has been a blessing. I'm not bored. I don't think I'm getting bored. What Joka Jok does is it enables me to throw in my creativity in different, all these things I've gone through, from package design to graphic design to a bit of fashion design to music to videography and cinematography and content creation and all of that. Now, all of that knowledge is coming into being, and I can use it in the various forms, when I'm creating stuff for Joka Jok. So it's given me a place to create, and also it's given me a place to vent. Because I've realized also, when you're going through that process of mourning, one of the things you need to do is you need a place to let out. And for me, creativity is the way I know how to,
exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
And it's really helped me grow as a person. But it's also, as a brand, I mean, 5 years later, I'm looking at it and I'm like, whoa.
It's grown.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You know, some things I'm like, I don't even believe we're here right now, because if you told me when Jay was 1 year old that I wouldn't have to beg for diapers, because there was a time where I had to beg people to help me buy diapers because I didn't have a job. And now we can afford to give to other people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I wouldn't have believed you that was even going to be possible. Yeah.
And if you could impart one thing to Jay, what would it be?
You have everything that you need within you. Everything. Never look outside for outside validation. You have every single thing you need. I know this about her not because she's special or unique or anything, but because of the person that she's becoming. Very independent, very, very, very outspoken, very curious, as she was from month 2. Very inquisitive, and gets bored easy as well. People
like
who
you.
get people who get bored easy, it just means like, okay, I understand that now. I need to understand this one. Show me how this works now, you know. Let's stop with this, you know. And I think they call it what's the medical term? People who really can't sit in one place, you know, were hyper.
It's not ADHD, but I know what you're trying to say.
It's a possible mix of ADHD and dyslexia, because that's what the world would term it if you were to pigeonhole it. But for me, it's just, look, I already get it. What you're telling me, I get. And actually, I don't even want to get it because it's not for me.
Yeah.
How about you explain this one to me?
Yeah.
And by doing that, the world is like, wait, but it takes you 7 years to understand this. Why are you saying it? You understand it in 5 minutes. Slow down. Are you crazy? And I'm like, no, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And I see that in Jay of, yeah, I understand this, but this is not for me. Thanks.
Yeah.
This is for me.
Yeah.
And the world wants to yank you back to, no, but you have to go through this first.
Yeah.
Child proteges are there. They're not always, I mean, I wish the world was, especially Africa, was modeled a bit differently. I think we're in a world where we're killing our creatives
That's true.
and our gifted people because we want them to start being gifted and creative after they've finished their masters in university, which is an average of, if you're lucky, 26, 28.
Yeah.
At 28, bro, you should be flying, you know?
Yeah.
That's when your career should be peak.
Skyrocketing,
In fact,
yeah.
you should be experimenting on other things. And that's when the world wants you to start.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for me.
Yeah. And as you said, you don't like sitting still. What's next for Tedd Josiah?
That's a very interesting question. So today's Thursday. I turned 55 in 2 days, in 48 hours.
Well,
I say that
happy
and
early birthday. Yeah.
I say that and my mind can't comprehend still.
Yeah.
Because the question is, what's next? Even for me, the whole of August has been, what's next? What can we do? And there's so many things that I would like to do. But for me, Tedd Josiah has been.
Yeah.
I've lived life, you know. I've burnt the candle hard, you know.
Yes, you
I've yeah, those tires, man, they're flat. And I think to myself right now, the thing that is next for me is just to build a legacy. If it can live for the next 300 years, I will be happy as hell.
Yeah.
And it's not a legacy about me. It's much bigger than me. So people might forget who I am, but the impact will be felt for a long time. And that's the question is, how do I do that?
Yeah.
What do I put in place to make sure that that happens? And I don't know. I don't know if it's a joke. I don't know if it's a much bigger brand. I don't know if it's creating a creative institution where the ones who aren't loved by the world, but we understand them, we can put them in there, you know, like the X-Men, you know. I'm still really open to what God wants for me to do, but I'm hoping that He allows for me to leave something for the next generation to hold on to. Many a time we've been, especially in Africa, when our parents pass, you're left for a house, you're left for a huge bank account. If you're lucky, you're left for some property here and there or a farm. You've never been to a farm and you've been left for this macadamia farm, and you're wondering, people eat macadamia. Hello? Did you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how many acres again? 2,000 of macadamia. What the hell am I going to do with 2,000? Like, no, but I'm a coder. I just want to code. And there's that disconnect between your inheritance and your destiny.
That's true.
And your vision for your personal life. And that is constantly clashing with us, I think, as Africans right now. And let me speak for the African. Everybody else can speak for themselves. And what does that mean for the next generation? And what does that mean for the generation that's leaving and leaving them in charge? I think it's leaving a conversation where we need to go like, yeah, Dad, so I get where you were going in your life, and I get that you want the best for me, but what vision did you have that I can embrace?
Yeah.
And don't get upset if I don't embrace this vision, because this was yours, but I will grow it in this way. And having that parent and child conversation, so that it's not just 2,000 acres of macadamia farms that you're left for, but now it's, okay, how about I go and value add the macadamia and actually package it and actually create a family brand and actually now use my coding skills to create websites and apps and stuff to sell this macadamia, and then recruit that cousin of mine who all he knows is farming and smoking weed, and put him there to, do what he does best, farm, and recruit larger family and build. That's how Indians build.
Yeah.
Why aren't Africans building like
That's
that?
true.
Yeah. So when I say legacy, that's what I mean. I want to break that stereotype of, bro, okay, yeah, so my folks passed, so I was left for $2 billion, and I think I'm going to retire on the beach and, watch prawns grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to create family units that build better and build longer lasting, especially for the African. If the African is going to enter this new world order and fight it and win it, it has to be on different terms, and it has to be, thanks to our folks for what they've done, but also we have to,
making something that will last.
Yeah, exactly.
And last but not least, what advice would you give to an up and coming creative?
Be you. Be you. It doesn't matter if nobody understands you. Be you. All creatives are hardly ever understood. But you've not been brought into this world to be understood. You've been brought into this world for you to show the world a different way of thinking. Whether you're a painter, you're a sculptor, you're an artist, you're a musician, you're a poet, you're in media, whatever medium you're using, you've been brought into this world not to copy the world and make the world comfortable with it, who the world is. You've been brought into this world to make the world very uncomfortable with itself, so that it can say, okay, actually, I think that guy has a point. Maybe we need to look at life differently.
Yeah, that's true. Tedd, thank you so much. And when I say you're an icon and a legend, I don't say it lightly. Actually,
Thank you.
Continue doing what you're doing, continue inspiring, and I really respect how you're such a great dad to your daughter.
Thank you very much.
And I can't wait to see what's next, because I know you can't sit still.
Yeah.
And may God bless you. May God keep you.
Thank you very much.
So much.
It means a lot. This has been very. I know I didn't come on time. Last time we were supposed to meet, we had.
But things happen for a reason.
Yeah, things happen for a reason, and I believe that this message will reach the right people in the right time.
Yeah.
Don't ever call me an icon again, though, because I'm just Joe Blog doing Joe Blog.
Okay, so
that's how I look at myself. No celebrity status, no nothing. I'm just a kid still with a big dream.
Wow. I think we can end at that. Thank you so much, Tedd.
Asante.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching Tide Talks with me, Tyrone Kimenyi. Please watch, like, subscribe. I'm available on all mediums at Tyrone Kimenyi. I thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you, Tedd.
Great.